This is a very big breaking update we have got right now, where Lok Sabha has passed criminal law bill seeking to replace IPC, CRPC and Evidence Act. Swapnil Kothari is joining us on the phone line. Thank you for joining us here. This is a very important update, and I was asking Narendra Kohli to comment on this. He was saying this is something which is very long overdue. But if you could talk a little bit more about what he has been saying about the sedition law being replaced with one that punishes those who talk against the country and not against those who speak against the government. When Amit Shah said this, he was referring to the Congress government earlier. Your first reaction coming in?
Obviously, when you replace a 1860 Indian Penal Code, which is what now about 163 years of age, 163 years old, obviously that is going to be a tectonic shift. And once you have that, you have to take into account all the possible new crimes that are committed or that are considered as crimes or offences, as opposed to what the British passed during the colonial era. Obviously, when you spoke against the government, it was considered as sedition in those days, and it still was on the paper books at this time. But now is that it has been replaced by the fact that when you speak against the country, as pointed out by the Honourable Home Minister, it clearly indicates that, well, you can speak against the government if you want, because that's my freedom of speech. It's my fundamental right. I don't have to like the government in everything that it does, or for that matter, I don't even have to like the government at all. That's my freedom of speech, just as I don't like a movie. That same way I would not want to like a particular government. So, but if you speak against the country, then that is considered as an offense. So that is a very, very important departure from the earlier colonial era where the government tried to protect itself. Now, the second part, which I consider most important, what I have seen, is the protection of women. That was long overdue. A lot of teeth needed to be given to the Indian Penal Code in that aspect. The rape laws and the crimes against women laws, which were passed pursuant to amendments, were not significant enough or were not sufficient enough. And likewise, then when you these are two substantive laws. That is the Indian Penal Code, and in some form, even the Indian Evidence Act is considered some part of substance. And partially it is a substantive law, partially it is a procedural law. Criminal Procedure Code is absolutely a procedural law. Now, when you completely change the Indian Penal Code, which is a substantive law, you obviously need to make some changes in the procedure as well, because that will have some impact so as to ensure that justice is facilitated to the common man. Now, obviously, all these three things form the gamut of the entire criminal justice system, and that's the reason why they have undergone a change. And one welcomes them. Eventually, the reasoning behind the amendment, the logic behind the amendment, or the logic behind the overhaul, I would say, I would not say amendment. The overall of all the three criminal laws ultimately lies in its implementation. And to what extent is justice meted out? Is it meted out faster? Is it meted out substantively? Does it stop criminals from committing offences? Does it reduce the crime rate across the country? That is where then I would think that it has been a success of this government as far as the three laws is concerned. Obviously, the intention is clear. It's noble to ensure that, yes, we need to overhaul the system. Ultimately, now the burden lies not only on the courts, but very much on us lawyers to ensure that we play some role in ensuring that justice is meted out to the people who are victims and make the best out of the law that there is today before us in the form of this complete overhaul. So I completely welcome this move, and let's see how it goes. It's over a period of time, and there's nothing stopping from amending these further or tweaking these a little further as time passes. So it's a great initiative, and I'm glad that the Lok Sabha has passed the bill. So we are in for it, and we will have soon revised books, I guess. Very soon, I guess, the way the Companies Act and the other laws also have been amended. Complete overhaul has taken place. Now I'm just waiting for the Income Tax Act 1961 to take place to change that. That's long overdue as well. But that's a subject for another debate, not today.
All right. Thank you, Swapnil Kothari, advocate, for joining us here. Very big story here where you're seeing that Lok Sabha has passed the criminal law bills, which was seeking to replace the IPC, CRPC and the Evidence Act. It's a complete overhaul of the criminal code. It's huge, coming in huge. Lok Sabha passing the 3 amended criminal law bills, where Amit Shah has highlighted that This will ensure the victim-centric justice. What has Amit Shah said a short while back? He made a very long speech. Let's go ahead and play that out.
मान्यवर, भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता, इसमें पहले सीआरपीसी में 484 धाराएं थी, इसके जगह अब 531 होंगी। 177 धाराओं में बदलाव किया गया है, 9 नए जोड़े गए हैं, 39 नए सबसेक्शन जोड़े गए हैं, 44 नए प्रोविजन और स्पष्टीकरण जोड़े गए हैं, 35 सेक्शन में टाइमलाइन जोड़ी गई है और 14 धाराओं को निरस्त कर हटा दिया गया है। इसी तरह आईपीसी की जगह भारतीय न्याय संहिता में पहले 511 धाराएं थी, इसकी जगह 358 अब रह गई है। 21 नए अपराधों को जोड़ा गया है। 41 अपराधों में कारावास की अवधि को बढ़ाया गया है। 82 अपराधों में जुर्माना बढ़ाया गया है। 25 अपराधों में अनिवार्य न्यूनतम सजा शुरू की गई है। 6 अपराधों को सामुदायिक सेवा का दंड, कम्युनिटी सर्विस का पेनल्टी देने का काम किया गया है और 19 धाराओं को निरस्त कर दिया गया है। और भारतीय साक्ष्य अधिनियम एविडेंस एक्ट को 167 धाराएं थी, इसकी जगह 170 धाराएं बनी हैं। 24 धाराओं में बदलाव किया गया है। 2 नई धाराएं, 6 उप धाराएं जोड़ी गई हैं और 6 धाराओं को हटाने का काम भी करा गया है। मान्यवर, ये कानूनों को ध्यान से पढ़ेंगे तो ये कानून के अंदर आज तक, जब तक ये सदन रिपील नहीं करेगा तब तक यूनाइटेड किंगडम की संसद ने बनाया हुआ कानून आज हम हमारे इसकी जगह जो इंडियन पिनल कोड 1860 में बना, उसका उद्देश्य ही दंड देना था। उसका करीब 150 साल पुराने 3 कानून जो हमारी क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम, आपराधिक न्याय प्रणाली को गवर्न करते हैं, वो तीनों कानूनों में पहली बार मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में गैजेट के जिक्र, ब्रिटिश क्राउन का दबदबा, इंग्लैंड के न्यायालय और हर मैजेस्टी रोमिनियन और बैरिस्टर शब्द प्रयोग का जिक्र आजादी के बाद भी 75 साल तक होता गया। मोदी जी के इस इनिशिएटिव ने हमारे तीनों कानून को एक गुलामी की मानसिकता और उसके चिन्हों से मुक्त करा है।